2 News at 11 starts now.
And right now, 2 people are being treated for injuries after an apartment fire in Riverside tonight. One of the injured, a firefighter, the other, the apartment resident who suffered severe burns. Brooke Moore is live with what investigators now say appears to be the cause. Brooke?
Mark, I talked to the Riverside fire chief, and we're here outside Miami Valley Hospital now, where one person is being treated for severe burns after the fire chief says that person was cooking with grease, left the stove unattended, and that's when somehow that grease caught fire in that apartment complex. You'll see when we first arrived here on the scene, that fire broke out around 7:45 tonight on Janira Lane. That's just off State Route 202 in Riverside. There's a lot of smoke there, as you can see, and fire crews had to call for backup, specifically because of this cold weather. When they're battling flames like this and smoke, they have to rotate their crews quite often. They tell us that there are 8 apartment units there, all connected, so they were going to have to evacuate everyone inside, but only people inside about 3 of those units were home, so they did have to be evacuated as they took that victim to the hospital. A firefighter also hurt his shoulder while battling this fire. So we asked the fire chief if these frigid temperatures have any kind of effect on their work.
This cold, same as it is when it's super hot out. When it's cold like this, you've got more slip and fall hazards with the ice, and especially with the snow we've had, trying to get through down the walks that aren't shoveled and through the snow banks. So you just got to move slower, more cautious, and you rotate the crews more often.
The fire chief says they were able to contain most of that damage to that one unit where the fire broke out, but they had shut off power to those other 8 units, so they were still deciding a little bit earlier whether those people would be allowed to go back home tonight. We're told the firefighters' injuries were minor. As for that man or woman who is 70 to 75 years old inside the hospital now, we'll be monitoring that victim's condition. We'll pass along any updates. Reporting live, I'm Brooke Moore, 2 News, working for you.
And the first night of harness racing at the new Lebanon Racino will now be taking place tomorrow after a power outage there tonight. Just 15 minutes before the scheduled start at 6:30 p.m., the power went out. Raceway officials decided to cancel the races for the night when it had not been restored by 8 p.m. The track did have backup generators running, but they did not prove to be enough. Racing fans we talked to were understandably disappointed, but say they'll be back.
My wife and I just celebrated our 40th anniversary, and we decided to have a date night, so we decided to come down here for date night.
This was the date night?
Yes, so I guess we'll do another one.
Things happen, yeah. When the first time, it's always something. You know, you expect it.
The fans were offered a refund, and that racing is now set for tomorrow night at 6:30. We're told Duke Energy is still working to determine the cause of tonight's outage. And you will need power and heat because it's going to be a cold night and more snow's on the way. Meteorologist Tara Hastings tracking your Storm Team 2 forecast. Tara?
Well, temperatures are in the single digits across most of the Miami Valley, and we are well below normal for this time of year. That trend will continue for the weekend. This morning we started out at 5 below, only hit a high of 13. The normal for this time of year is 37, and forecast lows the next couple of nights, single digits tonight, tomorrow night into the teens, but back into the single digits for Sunday night and Monday morning. We are tracking some snow showers heading this way into the weekend. It looks like right now things are quiet on live Doppler 2 HD, but we have some snow showers that will be beginning to develop here. A couple of waves of energy pushing through. We'll let you know when they will get here and how much snow we'll see in your full Storm Team 2 forecast.
All right, Tara, now take a look, if you would, at this picture. Do you know who that is? According to age progression experts, it is what Erica Baker would look like if she were alive today at the age of 24. But on this 15th anniversary of her disappearance, we now know with virtual certainty that she is no longer with us, and we are left with this more familiar image in our memories of a little girl lost. Tonight, only on 2 rare insights and revelations from the man who wants nothing more than to bring her home.
911, what's your emergency?
My granddaughter has disappeared.
Hi, Erica.
9-year-old Erica Baker of Kettering, Ohio. Greg and Melissa Baker's 9-year-old daughter has been missing for over 2 weeks.
Suspects, I'm not going to speculate. It's a slow, methodical process.
She's in our thoughts and in our prayers.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
So please, Mr. Gabriel, Tell us where our beloved Erica is buried.
For the past 15 years, it has been the Miami Valley's greatest mystery, even for those who have been there since the beginning. For the past 32 hours, the Kettering Rec Center has been the focus of this search. And outside of Erica's immediate family, no one has lived and breathed it more than Kettering Police Sergeant Bob Green, the lead detective on the case for the past decade and a half. And he's still living it today.
Honestly, when I look back on that time, we did everything we could. We pulled resources from Hamilton County by, by having their helicopter come up here.
Green has dedicated much of his life and career to Erica's case, but has rarely talked about it. But recently, he and I returned to the pond where Erica was last seen alive, and where Green says the once murky waters are now clear.
I am 100% sure that Erica Baker was struck by a van that Christian Gabriel was driving, that her remains were removed. I don't know if she died due to that accident or if she was killed later. Christian Gabriel claims that she died as a result of the accident, but he won't tell us where the body is.
You think he knows?
I know he knows.
Christian Gabriel remains the only person ever convicted in the Baker case, serving 6 years for tampering with evidence and gross abuse of a corpse. Green took me to the corner of Glengarry and Powhatan, where he believes Erica was hit the day of a busy hockey tournament at Kettering Rec.
And he knew, because he was here, that there were cars parked all up and down this roadway, because both those parking lots were full. He said the little girl darted out and he hit her. How it changed over.
Yeah. Next, the sergeant took me to the secret location where Gabriel's van is still being held as evidence today.
Some rolled up carpet right here.
Gabriel has always claimed that he and his late accomplice, Jan Franks, were shoplifting that day, fueled by drugs and alcohol that dulled his memory. Green doesn't buy it.
He knew where he was. He knew how he was driving.
So he had clear recollection of specific details.
Absolutely. He referred to her body as twisted and broken when he observed it underneath his van. His words, twisted and broken. Don't tell me he was drunk. And then in detail told me the positioning of her body, how he arrested it in the hole in which he dug and placed her arms across his chest and covered her face with Jan Franks's jacket and covered her face with a hood over her face. That's detail. And you don't just bury an individual and not know where it happens and where you've done it.
At the Kettering Police Department, there are still file cabinets full of all the evidence collected over the past 15 years.
These are all the phone tips. They were marked. They were categorized 1, 2, and 3, 1 being the most important.
But what's most important now is bringing Erica home. And Green has one final message for the man who holds the key.
Keep looking over your shoulder, because we're coming. And we're still there. We know where you're at, we know where you're living, and we're watching you. And it's not going away until you wise up.
In many ways, Erica has become the community's child, and her parents, of course, have never stopped looking for her. Today, Misty Baker marched through the snow to place flowers in a balloon next to her daughter's grave marker. And Erica's father hopes his faith will one day bring his daughter home, while reminding other parents to hug their kids a little tighter tonight.
Make sure they know not to go anywhere alone. What happened to Erica was a 1 in a million shot.
15 years ago today. 15 years ago today, Erica went missing on a drizzly Sunday afternoon, and she's still not home.
And also right now on WDTN.com, you can check out a video timeline of the Baker case over the past 15 years that we have built exclusively for you. The Montgomery County Coroner's Office has now identified the Dayton woman mauled to death by her neighbor's dogs today as 57-year-old Clonda Ritchie. And tonight, we're hearing from one of her friends.
So anyone that loved animals, it was her. And so this is just so crazy for this to have happened to her by an animal.
Now, her friend did not want to appear on camera, but says Ritchie rescued and cared for cats at her East Bruce Avenue home. Police say 2 Mastiff mixes attacked her today and also rushed toward officers when they arrived. That's when police shot and killed the dogs. Now, 2 News Investigates found documents that indicate that Richie repeatedly in the past had asked for help about the dogs that eventually killed her.
Justice system really failed her, really did. There's got to be a better way to address, these types of complaints.
Animal resource officials say they did check into those complaints, but the dog's owners never responded to their calls. The owners, Julie Custer and Andrew Nason, were booked into jail today on homicide charges. Well, some changes coming soon to the Dayton Mall. That's coming up. Plus, a heart-healthy basketball game. Why the event was extra special for a local family. And even the Stewart Street Bridge is going red tonight in support of heart awareness. You see it there, but it could be white later this weekend. Tara's tracking the chance of more snow. And it was a very good showing for Team USA at the opening ceremonies. Reaction from the athletes and what events are on tap for Sochi tomorrow. That's next.